Mike Cugno is with us here at the Amerant Bank Arena. You see him on CBS 4. You see him nationally on CBS Sports HQ. He's got a burgundy jacket, sunglasses on. You're a vibe. What's going on, Cugno?
I'm trying to manifest this parade on the beach this weekend because I'm trying not to go back to Edmonton, I guess.
I imagine all the local media, I'm not talking, national media doesn't want to go either, but
it's a trek.
You guys would have to turn around, fly what?
It's awesome.
Thursday, I guess?
Yeah, it's awesome to go. The experience is great. It is just a long haul, so we'd be flying back Thursday and game Friday and beach Saturday or Sunday.
Well, Manso used his daughters to get out of it, remember?
Yeah, he kept it here for Father's Day weekend, although you've got a kid.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I haven't seen her in a month. But
so let me ask you.
I'm told.
Let's start here.
Yeah.
Do the Panthers close it out tonight? Because one of the things I was saying to Crowder and Solana was this series has had 7 games written all over it since the jump.
Yeah.
And there are a couple games, and they've been a very good road team, the Panthers, so it's not that a game 7 would tremendously scare me, but this series just feels like it has been preordained to go 7 games. So do you think they get it done tonight?
I think the Panthers do get it done tonight, but let me say this. This series deserves 7 games. This 2-year stretch with the Panthers and the Oilers deserves it. This is 30 for 30 type stuff. This is sports documentary after sports documentary type stuff. If this goes 7 games, and no matter who wins it, you're talking about maybe the 2 greatest Stanley Cup Finals we've ever seen. And to be a part of it is so cool. And, I think if you're fans on either side, obviously for the Oilers, it hurt, but for the Panther fan, you got to be grateful for all this. Hockey fans should be grateful for all this. I mean, we don't see this every day. You've got the best player versus the best team. It's, Connor McDavid versus Goliath, literally, and it's just been so much fun to watch and to see 3 games going to overtime. I do want to mention this. The Oilers haven't beaten the Panthers in regulation this series. So it's really interesting that they kind of need that little extra.
Panthers should have swept them. Go ahead and say it.
It should be over. Should have been over.
And I'm trying to be the optimistic person, and them going back to Skinner. So Skinner got set down. Now they tried Picard. Picard got set down. Now they're going back to Skinner. Should that give me confidence in this game tonight?
I'm a little less concerned about the goalie stuff because they basically put 4 or 5 on whoever's in that. It's the only time they didn't was when Picard came in. What was that, game 4, and he saves it. I don't think it matters. I just think it matters about the Panthers getting to their game. Whoever's in net, whoever is on opposite of Bob ain't Bob. So you got the goalie. Now you have to have your game for 60 minutes. And the games they've lost, they've had those lapses for whole periods sometimes, and they just can't. You gotta be geared up for the entire 60 minutes tonight.
At least 7 goals have been scored in every game. At least.
You sound like you wager on this
because we know you didn't do research.
And yes, the over/under is floating around there. No, but
what is the over/under tonight?
Game 7. I would imagine 6.5.
It was 6.5 last game, but I think it's been 5.5.
I think it's been 6.5 every game in this series. I think so. Yeah, which lets you know what Vegas even thinks.
6.5.
Look at all of you on your phones. Like,
well,
what did I put more money on?
This is more important than anything we've talked about.
I'm getting hosed in this NBA, Mike.
What's the line for Kachuk Golden Hawk?
Is there anything going off in an hour? Is there any Club World Cup action?
There actually is at 3 p.m.
What do we got?
Plays Urawa Reds.
Cool. Oh, well, what should we do?
Put Kim?
No, but I'm saying what?
River Plate is going to win this game.
I forgot to ask you yesterday, by the way. You said Inter Miami, they drew it at 0-0.
Yes, Al Ali.
Is that good or bad in terms of the tournament? Okay. No, go ahead. Listen, no joke is too late.
He brought that one back from back. 2 years
I was so pissed that I whiffed on it yesterday. I was like, I'm getting that off again.
what game do you expect tonight?
Solano's like, do I really want my name on this show?
You're here now, baby.
You don't need to wait till 8:30 to see some gloves being dropped because I want to fight Hawk right now. Do you expect a game like we've seen pretty much every game this series, or last year, Game 7,
tight?
I mean, 2-1 tight.
Yep.
Reinhart scores that game winner, and then it was just like everybody was so focused on being tight defensively. It was impossible to even get near the crease. Like, what are you expecting tonight? Because I would imagine the Panthers, and I know this is like sports stereotype or cliche, this is the Panthers Game 7, right? Like, this is the one they have to win. Do they approach it that way?
Well, when you're 10-3 on the road, you don't have to win it. You'd love to win it here and get it done. I'll say this: someone asked me before Game 5 after a morning skate, how did the guys look, and I was like, robotic. And I kind of felt that before Game 5. I was like, I think the Panthers are going to win this one, and it's not even going to be close. And that's what ended up happening because they kind of move that way. And you hear everyone in the locker room this morning talk about how it just feels like another day. I think they've done such a good job of not letting moments get too big for you. But you are a human at the end of the day. Like the moment you can get swept up in it for sure. That's why I think last year was so important for this year to see what Connor McDavid and these guys can do. One of the questions I asked ahead of Game 1 up in Edmonton was like, the physical stuff about this team, but how much did it help you knowing the mental fortitude of this Oilers team so that you're mentally ready that they're going to be like this for an entire series? And so they said, got to keep the foot on the gas. And I think that's what they have to do tonight.
Do you know, by the way, because you work at a news station, somebody texts in, if the Panthers win tonight, the parade is Saturday. If the Panthers win Game 7, the parade is Sunday, per the city of Fort Lauderdale. The next text says, if the Panthers win it, maybe wait until next Tuesday, the 24th, to do the parade. The Marlins are in town, and you don't want people to have to choose.
Block him.
Do you know?
Yeah, get him out of here.
By the way, breaking news: Clayton McCullough has been named to the All-Star managerial staff.
No, but he was on the Dodgers last year when they won the World Series.
Is that why?
Because I think, isn't that how it goes? The previous year's World Series team manages.
Well, it says Miami Marlins manager Clayton McCullough has been selected to join Dave Roberts' National League coaching staff at the All-Star game in Atlanta. So I guess
that would track.
Oh, it says, yeah. So, yeah, you're right. That's probably why.
Yeah, he just says I hate,
because it can't be for sending Matt Mervis down to the minors. He's your best hitter, and you stink.
Talk about a coaching move though. Look at him; he's regaining his confidence. He'll be back up before.
Aren't they on a 5-game losing streak right now? The Marlins?
No, they actually had just swept the series against the Nationals. They did lose last.
What I was talking about. That's why he deserves.
Go back to the Jersey Shore.
That's why he deserves the nod. That's why the guy's an all-star manager.
Mike asked all three of us a sports question, and we just look at each other.
What?
Well, why do you think I should do that?
Do you know, though, if there's a parade?
560 Sports WQAM.
Do you know if there's a parade date scheduled?
I don't, but I will say this.
Jimmy, can you get on the blower with the city of Fort Lauderdale and see what they say about the parade? We'll do it in the 3 o'clock hour.
I will say this. I got hotel rooms for the whole weekend in Fort Lauderdale.
Did you really?
Yeah, because I'm not going to fight the traffic from Miami because we have to be there. Like our broadcast would start early, like well before the parade even starts. And we're going to be on the air all day.
That's a great move.
So I just went.
What do you got? You got a rollout in that room because I'm looking for a place to stay.
No, it's what's it called? A California King. You can fit right between me and Jenny. Like we'll just squeeze you right in there.
That's perfect.
Right.
Is she bringing those
zucchini
muffins that I love so much?
Is she bringing them?
Is it a parade?
Right. I mean, is it a Saturday?
Who's got your vote for the Conn Smythe right now?
Man, I think it's got to be Bennett.
Over Marchand.
Yeah, and it's because the spirit of the award is for the entire postseason. Marchand, no doubt, what he's been doing is crazy and it's fun to watch. But to have 15 postseason goals and most of them being on the road, he's winning you games on the road. I think that's where it has to go. But Marshy, man, he's making a run for it. I'll give him credit.
I mean, if he puts up goals tonight,
like the ones he did other night,
if he
and
wins
if
them,
it goes
if he wins them another game, I could see the votes swinging his way.
Isn't it because
sure.
isn't there like an emotional thing
won them 2
to who votes on Conn Smythe? Media?
I believe it is.
Jimmy, can you call the keeper of the cup and find out?
Call Phil Pritchard
and find out. Can you call Captain Stanley and find out
There
who
we
votes
go.
for the Conn Smythe? No, but I think I just wonder. Sam Bennett is not very well liked.
Professional Hockey Writers Association.
Yeah, I wonder if some of the writers, they don't like him because, he's a cheap shot artist, and that's not me saying that. That's them, and they'd rather reward someone like Brad Marchand, who's been doing it for years. And
Marchand's no angel either.
correct, but next to Sam Bennett, he is
You gotta look
By
at
the angel on your shoulder.
What an image, having those two guys at podiums together after what happened last year. It's
Amazing.
like, this is the nightmare. This is the NHL's Endgame right here.
And I don't want to do. We were talking about it. We ended the series last year, Game 4. Then we ended the Game 5. Then we ended the Game 6 and Game 7. On radio, we end up getting Game 7.
Yeah.
But what does this really just put the Panthers with what they call them, the Power 6 and all that? With going to 3 and winning 2, really put them up there where your daughter's talking about them in 10, 20 years when they talk about hockey.
Well, I think nationally, I think people are annoyed with this Panthers team because it's the team they want, and it's the team that they don't get, like the way it's built and constructed and all that stuff. Are you talking about like the original 6?
Yeah, the original 6, just the hockey purist stuff.
Probably not, because they will pick apart everything. They'll pick apart the Sam Bennett stuff. They'll pick apart the tax stuff. They'll pick everything. The long-term IR stuff. They'll pick apart everything with this run because it's, I think, a Florida team. I just, I'm just watching like national hockey writers like openly rooting for like the Oilers.
Seems like it, right?
I mean, it's like, what are we doing?
But I think part of that is the fact that Connor McDavid plays for the Oilers. It's partly Canada hasn't won a cup in forever, a team from Canada.
Right.
And it's partly that they have Connor McDavid, who
It means a lot.
Everybody's anointing the next great one. I remember like LeBron when he was in Cleveland before coming to Miami, like they wanted LeBron to win a title. He was the chosen one. He was the next great one. People wanted LeBron to win. I think there's part of that.
Yeah.
Which, to Crowder's question, Cugno, which is going to be my question, doesn't this make the Panthers, if they win tonight or whenever, 2 cups more meaningful? The fact that they're keeping, forget the Canada dynamic, the fact that they're keeping Connor McDavid, who might go down as the greatest or second greatest ever of all time. This core, this group, this team coached by Paul Maurice that Zito put together has kept the next great one from being able to get over the mountaintop. That means something.
So maybe to your caveat, but like 10, 20 years down the road, yes, I think maybe when we take a step back and see what they did, but man, they're just breaking the hearts of hockey fans all over an entire country 2 years in a row. It's tough. And not only it's not only Edmonton, it's Toronto. Like I'm watching like Instagram reels where Toronto fans are like, come on, Oilers, do it for us. Like, you know what I mean? Like they have disappointed an entire nation. But yeah, they will, if they end up winning this, they'll go down as one of the greatest, I think, teams ever. And we got to talk about greatest teams in South Florida history.
Well,
I mean,
they're
obviously,
in the convo.
but like they got to be real high because hardest trophy to win and maybe the toughest sport. And they're here it's like 315, 16 games they played the last 3 years.
Wild.
That's crazy.
There's more breaking news, by the way. I didn't even know that Tyreek Hill was supposed to race Noah Lyles this weekend at Times Square.
Yeah.
That's been canceled.
Why?
In Times Square?
That's what it says. It says the race between, this from Chris Perkins, the race between Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill and Olympic champion Noah Lyles that was supposed to take place this weekend in New York's Times Square has been canceled, Lyles told reporters. And Tyreek Hill has just tweeted out the Homer Simpson backing up into the bushes with Noah Lyles' face on it, and it tags him on it, and it says, Noah Lyles after seeing me run the 100-meter last weekend.
So Noah ran away.
I don't know. It seems I can't imagine Tyreek Hill bailing out on something like this. He loves the attention. Let me ask you something real quick in the NBA world, Cugno, before we run out of time. Would you include Tyler Herro in a trade for Kevin Durant if that's what it took to get KD to Miami?
Man, that's a good question. I think he's been every time there's a big superstar, it always like James Harden a couple of years ago. You know, Tyler's part of the package. I would not be surprised if they did it. Sure. I mean, if you think that's what it takes to get
Solana said I would hold up the trade. I would say no if it had to include Tyler Herro. Crowder and I were like, yeah, go ahead.
But
what's the difference?
But an important part of that conversation though was that Andrew Wiggins and Tyler Herro. Like Andrew Wiggins is part of the trade, but the Suns are saying send us Wiggins and Tyler, we'll do it. And my argument was no. Like that's too much for a 37-year-old Kevin Durant, especially when Tyler's an all-star, 25 years old, who he could be on your team for the next 10 years as a go-to scorer.
It's hard, by the way, great eye contact, this entire thing with these stupid glasses on.
I love it.
It's hard to say yes when you don't know the rest of what the team looks like. That's the problem for me, is because Tyler here, as you mentioned, like good scorer.
But there are
Durant at 37 is gonna need.
There are good scorers out there, though. To describe someone as a good scorer, there's no KD.
But then why haven't they been able to find those guys and put them around Tyler and Bam the last few years? You know what I mean? Like if those guys are just out there.
KD.
But
Tyler doesn't open up a court like Kevin Durant would open up.
But still, other scores wouldn't have helped Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo spread the floor and get them some room.
I think Jimmy Butler was supposed to play some of that role. Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be a scorer. Terry Rozier was supposed to be a scorer. They've tried, which I understand. It's not as easy as what I'm saying, but I think it's easier to find a scorer than it is easier to find a Kevin Durant. There's one.
I know where KD's at. You know what I mean? Like, did everyone in the NBA know that Nesmith and Nembhard were going to be end up being these great players for the Pacers? No, I mean that is scouting. That is doing the dirty work. That is finding those guys. That is not like, oh, there he is. You know, the all-time. Offensive guy.
We do that all the time. We find those, diamonds in the rough. I mean, they need to do something different. You have two options for next season. You're either going to run it back, essentially, or you're going to have to shake things up and get someone like KD, but it may be at the expense of a Tyler Herro.
But my point is,
I wouldn't trade Bam. Don't get me wrong. There's Bam's untouchable.
You can't bring in KD and be like, okay, this is gonna be a 3-year project. We're gonna figure out the pieces around you over the next couple of years. You have to you almost have to be. KD's the missing piece.
But in other words, Tyler Herro is the key in that.
Well, I think he's a piece. I think Tyler Herro with Bam and KD is a pretty good trio in the East.
I agree. I'm just saying, if you can't get KD unless you give up Tyler, do you put the brakes on it?
I'd wait till the summer of 26.
Interesting.
At that point.
But Bam and Tyler Herro, they're not beating the Pacers or the Knicks.
Right.
KD and Bam, can they beat the Pacers or the Knicks if Tyler's not there?
I don't know. You got to find that other score.
I mean, KD can't even get into the playoffs.
You have a better chance. That's my thing too. KD's track record, I'm not arguing for, but my thing is just taking Tyler off the books. I'm like, I watched him score 4 points in a playoff game. I've seen him fail too many times.
Tyrese Halliburton scored like 4 points.
Tyrese Halliburton wasn't worth a damn last night.
Man, I had such a fire tweet ready to go because they were getting it close in the fourth quarter. If he hit the game winner, I was going to call him the spotlight merchant. Just to steal
like
and
like
just
that.
Wasn't there.
I like that.
That little itsy bitsy spider was balling though. McCullough, what's his name?
Yeah, McCullough.
Man, that little itsy bitsy spider.
Played McCullough.
I don't know how the hell he gets
little brother.
You nailed it.
Itsy bitsy spider. The basketball family.
What's the better golf movie, Caddyshack or Happy Gilmore?
Oh,
easy.
It's Caddyshack,
of course.
But Happy Gilmore is like 1B. It's not like it's a bad movie.
Well, number one.
Hold on. Why did you look at me like when I said it sounded like it's a bad movie? You think it's a bad movie?
So I watched it for the first time this weekend. I've never seen it. I watched it on the airplane this weekend. I said if Caddyshack's a 10, which I believe it is, Happy Gilmore's a 5. It was fine.
Foolishness.
It was fine. I mean, it was a little implausible, no?
What do you mean? A hockey player?
But the gopher blowing
Right.
up the that makes sense.
Well, that also.
What's that line in that Will Smith song? 5 and a 5, it's a dime. There you go. Watch it twice. It'll be a 10.
Yeah, but Caddyshack is better.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
that's all I was looking
Yeah.
for. All right. Mike Cugno, CBS 4. When can people watch you tonight? When's your first thing?
5 o'clock. We're going to be ready to go. And, all night.
Are you the lead story, do you think?
I don't know. They haven't sent me my hit time. So, yeah, they usually send me my hit times and go from there.
Can you see the burgundy pattern on his tie to match the jacket?
Yeah,
Thank you. It's
He
called
is.
little spy. By the way,
together.
I wore this.
Put together.
I wore this jacket in Game 5, and my wife said, "You got to wear the jacket again because they won last time." So I am in a happy wife.
What kind of material is that? It almost looks like a linen. It's like what is that?
I had a silkworm basically. Is
that a silk jacket?
No.
Wow. Is that a tweed?
Don't look too close. Freaking me out.
Well, that's my family's business. Schmathas.
A what?
Schmathas.
What's that?
No,
Textiles. That's the
spell it.
Well,
Sorry,
it's
spell it.
Yiddish. Schmathas is Yiddish for textiles. But yeah, no, that's my family business. That's why I'm fascinated by the textiles.
That's your family's business.
That is the family
and
business.
Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final and jeans and a.
You need schmathas to make jeans and I didn't tell you it was fine couture. I just said it was schmathas.
What's that sweater made out of?
The schmathas.